Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name's Claire DeRose and I am the team lead for the student recruitment team at the AICPA and CIMA. I'm going to be talking to you today about our CGMA CIMA professional qualification and management accounting, and then we're going to go into a bit of an interactive psychometric test part of things. One thing I do want to say to you is if you have got any questions, we have got a questions tab, so you can put any of your burning questions into that and we will try and answer them as best as possible during the webinar. I've got somebody in the background sort of answering any questions that they can sort of answer, but also at the end of the session, I'll be able to go through the questions and sort of have a bit of a Q&A time then. So, thank you for joining us. I wanted to talk to you firstly about us as a professional qualification. So what is the AICPA and CIMA? We are a professional management accounting qualification. We are a global qualification, and you'll see lots of different sort of acronyms. Probably you'll see AICPA and CIMA, you'll see CIMA or AICPA. The main thing to be aware of is the AICPA and CIMA are a joint venture which happened a few years back, where we joined with the CPAs in America. So that sort of brought the two together, and that's why we sort of go under the AICPA and CIMA brand now. But the professional qualification that you would be looking at doing would be the CGMA CIMA qualification, which stands for Chartered Global Management Accountants. We are a membership body, so usually with a professional qualification, people tend to study towards it whilst they're working, and your employer would usually pay for you to become qualified. So you'd be working at the same time and you'd be studying towards the professional qualification, because a professional qualification is slightly different from a master's, same level, but it's different because you need to have that practical experience before you can sort of move on and become qualified. So you need the practical and the theoretical side of things. And that's what makes a professional qualification different from a master's. So you might be thinking, what is management accounting? This might be the first time you've heard about the CGMA CIMA professional qualification and management accounting. So I'm going to take us back a few steps so that you sort of have a good understanding of that before I then move on and give you more details about what we do as a qualification. So if you look at this slide here, we've got two different types of accounting. We've got financial accounting and we've got management accounting. Financial accounting is that stereotypical accounting that most people, if you think of the word accountant, you think of what an accountant does, you think, okay, they sit in a back office accounts department and number crunch and work on Excel spreadsheets and things like that. Now that is more the financial accounting side of things. That's more working within tax or audit and number crunching and reporting what's historically happened within a business. So it's very much that sort of more number crunching side of things. Management accounting, which is what us, the CGMA CIMA professional qualification focuses on, is more about looking at the numbers, but also looking at lots of different factors that affect a business decision. That could be anything from staffing, economic environment, anything like that. So that's pulling all that information together. And that is then what the managers of the business use to move the business that you work for forwards. So management accountants very much work with lots of different departments. So if you're somebody who is interested in the business as a whole, if you're somebody who's interested in the corporate strategy, that strategic side of things, that is what management accountants focus on. So it's all about looking at the business as a whole and using the information to move the business forward. So it's all about sort of looking into the future and moving the business forward, whereas the financial accounting side is more looking at the historics and reporting on that and that more number crunching side of things. So hopefully that will give you a better insight as to the difference between the CGMA CIMA professional qualification, and other qualifications out there that you may have heard about, such as ICAW or ACCA, which are more focused on that financial accounting side of things within their syllabus. So just to give you a few examples of the different types of job roles that people do within, once they sort of look at taking that more management accounting route and study towards our qualification whilst they're working. We've got a few examples here, but I've done quite a few presentations over the years with very different companies and people who are either CIMA students, so they're studying and working still, or CIMA members. So you become a member once you are qualified. So you're a student member once you're also studying, and then you become qualified and you're a qualified member. So you're always a member of the institute, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So I did a presentation a while back with somebody who was working for Sky, and she was a student member, so she was studying on their graduate scheme, and she was presenting about what she did in her day-to-day job role. And she said that she was the person who sort of brought all the information together about viewing trends and about sort of buying trends and things like that, and presented that to Sky Movies and made suggestions as to what movies should be purchased, and also when they should be airing particular movies. And I just thought that was really interesting that this management accountant would be directly behind what I'd be watching and when. Another example is I did a presentation with somebody from Matalan. So she's the commercial finance director at Matalan, and she was talking about how she gets very much involved in the project team of the new Matalan stores. So she would be going, for example, if they want to set up a new Matalan store in Liverpool, for example, she would be looking at plots of land, she'd be looking at buildings to repurpose, but she'd be not just looking at how much that would cost, she'd also be looking at factors like the transportation network to that plot of land or to that building to repurpose. Is there an infrastructure there? Because they need to be able to, it needs to be there in order for future customers and employees to get there to the store. She'd be looking at factors like how close is Primark to this location, because apparently that has a massive effect on their sales. So there's lots of information that she'd be pulling together in order to make a suggestion to the business as to what option they should go for. So management accounting, I would say, is more of a tangible role within a business. So if you're somebody who's really interested in getting into the nitty-gritty of the business, you're interested in numbers and how they can affect business decisions, that is what the CGMA CIMA qualification and that management accounting route is all about. And this is just to give you a taster of some of the job titles that our students and student members and members actually hold. So it's not just assistant management accountant or a management accountant. There's actually a huge range and quite a diverse range of job roles that our students and our members hold. So anything from finance manager to business analyst to project manager to strategic consultant. There's lots of different things out there, and it really does open doors, because naturally taking that more management accounting route actually exposes you to lots of different areas of the business, which long-term in your career would then mean that there's exposure to different opportunities. So this is just to show you can work in any sector, anywhere. I have had over the years a lot of people sort of say to me, oh, I'm interested in management accounting, but I don't want to work in the manufacturing side of things. That is where we were born from 100 years ago, okay, as a qualification. That is not the case anymore. You can work in any sector, anywhere. It's totally up to you. If you are interested in consultancy, the Big Four, for example, if you thought actually management accounting and the CGMA CIMA qualification sounds more up my street, but you hear a lot about the Big Four talking about the other qualifications, that would be because they're talking about those audit and tax roles that they're recruiting for. If you want to work in the Big Four, but you want to study towards the CGMA CIMA qualification, then it would be the consulting side that you would be working in. So management consultant, that advisory arm. It just shows you where they all, within one type of business, where actually the different qualifications are positioned as well. You can, any industry, anywhere, it really doesn't hold you back as if you want to work in certain industries. It actually widens your options. And if you want to hear more about the CGMA professional qualification and actually what people, real life people do within their job roles, we've got lots and lots of different podcasts. We've got lots of different case studies and blogs that you can look at on our site that will enable you to hear about these different people, what their viewpoints are with regards to the route that they took and the qualification. And it can give you a really good understanding as to whether or not that is up your street or not. This is just a bit of a showing you the earning potential. As you can see, the main thing I want you to take from this is the different levels at the bottom. So this is the different levels of our qualification as you're studying and working through the qualification. And the main aspect of this is that your salary increases as you work through the qualification. Now, this is what the marketplace dictates. If you are studying towards a professional qualification and you are passing exams, you're getting to that next level, the marketplace actually dictates that you should have an increase in salary and potentially job role as well, depending on the company that you work for. So it's a nice way to have control over your career progression if you're studying towards a professional qualification, because it's up to you how quickly you get through those exams and how you pass them and things like that. So this is just to give you a bit of a brief on our actual qualification. I've been talking about the CGMA CIMA professional qualification all the way through this, and this is just to give you a bit of an example of the structure of our qualification. So all of these boxes are exams. We've got 16 exams in total. We've Hi there. Hopefully you can hear me now. Sorry, I seem to have been kicked out of the webinar, but hopefully everybody can hear me again. Okay, looks like I'm back. So the technical team say. Apologies for that, everybody. I don't know what happened there. I just got kicked out. Sorry, this is what happens with the technical side of things. I keep on being kicked out of this webinar, but hopefully it won't do it again and I'll still be on. What I'll do is because of this technical side of things, I'll just sort of go through quickly and we'll get on to the psychometric testing side of things. So looking for a job is a job in itself. So what I want to say is that there are lots of sort of things that you have to do when you're looking for a job. And this is why we are doing this psychometric testing side of things, because hopefully it will give you the basis to understand that there's something that you need to be aware about, and hopefully get you prepared and ready for your job. So, you know, when you're looking for a job, there's so much to do about searching, hunting for the jobs and everything like that, looking and putting together your CV, putting cover letters together, having to amend those according to the different companies that you're applying for so it's relevant and looks focused. So there's lots and lots of different things that you need to do. And once you've done that, you will probably be put into a process which looks like this. Not all companies go through this particular type of process when you are going to apply for a job, but most of the larger organisations do tend to do this type of a process. So it's application form, psychometric test, then maybe you'll be asked to do, then through to an interview, and then through to an assessment centre, and then on to hired or not hired. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at that part of the process, the psychometric test part of things. So why do recruiters use psychometric tests? So tests are a simple way of them being able to assess particular skills and traits for a particular role. So if you can imagine, these large organisations, particularly the large organisations, have got a lot of people applying for their roles, and the psychometric test is a very sort of clever way for them to be able to adapt the tests in order to try and pinpoint those skills and traits that they're looking for. And it's to identify the candidates with the greatest likelihood of success in that role and organisation. And also it's a really cost-effective way of them being able to assess these large numbers of applicants. So there's different types of tests. There's verbal, there's numerical, there's situational judgment, logical reasoning, and personality. And also you may have this gamification side of things. So it might be presented to you in a sort of game setting that you would work through. Now, preparation, planning, and practice prevent poor performance, okay? And what you would have seen on the slide before is that practice, 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 particularly with the psychometric testing side of things. How to prepare. You need to get yourself in good physical, mental shape. You need to do your research. So these are the things that you can ask about before you actually go on and click on that link to start that psychometric test that the employer has asked you to do. Find out the type of test you'll be facing. Work out timings. So how long will you have and how many questions do you have to do? Psychometric tests are usually time limited, and there's a reason behind that. That's sort of to see how you sort of work under pressure. So do sort of really work out how you're going to approach that with knowing the timings and how many questions there may be. Does the difficulty increase as you progress through? And usually it does, okay? So it's just to be aware of it. Can I use materials, e.g. blank piece of paper, calculator? You know, find out that before you start so you can be prepared with that. Usually psychometric tests will be set up so you don't have to. It's usually any mathematical things that's asked. It's usually for you to be able to use your estimation or your quick mental maths. And it's not, as you'll see in a minute when we're practicing, it's not set there for you to have to do intricate mathematical calculations with a calculator, and also how you'll be marked. So practice, practice, practice. Let's go on and practice. Now we're going to put a poll up for each of these practice questions. So please have a go, get involved, do some practicing. It's not to scare you off if you find it a struggle or anything like that. What this today is meant to do is meant to enlighten you to the fact that this might be part of an assessment an assessment process for you going for a job. So it's meant to sort of show you that this is what might happen and for you to get prepared. Like I said before, preparation is key. So we'll have the first poll come up, and this is a numerical practice test. How many calories originated in fat will be consumed when eating 1.5 cups of product X? Now I'm going to give you a minute per question, okay, before I close the poll. So I'm going to go on to my thing now and I'm going to time everybody. So A, B, C, D or E? So what do you think it is? If you want to start putting your polls in, then we can see how you get on. We are 20 seconds to go. So let's see some of those questions come through. All right, last 10 seconds. Okay, and stop. So hopefully you have all submitted, and hopefully the tech team can tell me how everybody is done with their polls. Right, let's see. Hopefully we can see the poll questions coming through, see what everybody's come to. I'm getting the answers now. Okay, now looks like most people went for, let me see what it says, guys. Most people went for, bear with me, question, answer A, which you will find is incorrect. It is actually D. So what you need to do with this one, and it's very much about trying to find out the information and look at the minimum amount of information, okay? So how many calories originated in fat? So that's all you need to look at is the calories and the fat, and work out the 1.5 cups. So the 1.5 cups is the calories from fat, 30, 1.5 cups, you times that together, and then you come to the 90. So that's sort of, it's meant to, you'll get in these psychometric tests lots of different aspects where you will have lots of information presented to you, and this information is meant to sort of make you a bit confused and take up some time by you looking at everything, but really what you need to look at is only a couple of factors. So we'll move on to the next one. Okay, and I'm going to set my timer. So in which year was the average number of daily swimmers the highest? Start, you've got 1 minute. Right, you've got 27 seconds left. You're getting some answers through. Give it a go, even if you don't feel that you know, just give it a go. But this is all about having to, just guesstimate, really, see what you see. So that is time done. So let's have a look and see. So the majority of people have gone with 80% of you said B, and that will be correct. So well done, everybody, and well done for having a go at it. So it is really just looking and being able to visually sort of see and being able to sort of really quickly look that is probably the majority and do some quick calculations to come up with the 2004. Next question. Okay, what is the total value of grade A and C wireless headphones produced in 2019? I'll start the clock now. Okay, some answers coming through. Got a bit of a variation on things. It's all quite even, actually, for a few of the answers. Okay, there's 17 seconds left. Just go for it, whatever you think. 5 seconds. Okay, and time is up. So what have we got? We have got majority going for B. Okay, well, the correct answer is A, $490,000. So again, you can do this as an estimate and really rough and really quick. So what you can see is you've got the two lines, you've got A and you've got C. Forget B in the middle, you don't even need to look at that information. And you don't need to look at grade B information. What you need to look at is grade A, which is the $500 per 50. So in 2019, the line that says A, let's say that's 25. And then you've got 2019, the C line, let's say that's 80. So half of 50, so grade A, the $500, half of that is 250 because we've got 25 there. And then grade C, you've got 50. So let's, 80's sort of what we'll say is we've got 150, and say we went to half that again, so it's not quite the 80, it's 75, but you've got you then take that and half that, and actually what it does, it gets you closest to, on this multiple choice side of things, the $490,000, because what you're also having to do is, instead of doing this direct exact numbers, because you've got multiple choice, it's all about also estimating and rounding up, rounding down to the nearest so that you can do it quickly. So that's sort of one thing that you can roughly work out fairly quickly, and don't look at all the information as well. It's just the information that's asked in the questions. So the next one is, which department has the greatest percentage increase in the expenditure between 2010-11 and 2011-12? Okay, I'm going to start the clock now. Right, we've got some people coming through. Okay, there's a few different ones that everybody's going for. Remember, it's about this rounding up, estimating side of things, which you think it might be best. Okay, time stopped. So I can see that the majority of people have gone for A, which is correct. So this again is about just being able to round up and sort of see which has the biggest difference than the percentage increase, and you can sort of already get rid of some of them and just look at a couple of factors there that will bring you quite quickly to the answer of A. It's not having to sort of go through and calculate everything and make sure that everything's perfect. You actually can get rid of quite a lot of information by rounding up and trying to see that percentage increase. And you can see straight away that that isn't on quite a few of them the biggest percentage increase. So we're going to go next on to logical reasoning. And this is all about patterns and sequences and what comes next. So this sort of non-verbal reasoning side of things. So I'm going to start the clock and see what you think comes next in the sequence. Right, so we've got some coming through, quite a high percentage going for one particular one. Oh, it's dropping a bit. There's a bit more going on to different things. Right, you've got 15 seconds left. If you haven't put in something, try and go for it now. Five seconds left. Right, so that is it. Time is up. Okay, let's see. So we've got 41% of you, which is the majority, going for A, and that's correct. So basically, this is all about patterns. So you've got the first 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the pattern, and then you're starting it again. So the last one, as you can see on that row, is the same as the first one, which means then you will go on to what comes next, the second in that sequence of 4, which is A. Okay, so well done to that 42% of you. Next one, what comes next in the sequence? And I'll start the clock again. Okay, here we go, guys. The poll's up. What are you going to go with? Ooh, we've already got quite a few answers coming through. I can see one front runner at the moment. We've got 15 seconds left. Just have a go. Okay, 5 seconds. And time is up. Okay, so let's see. So the majority of you, 63% of you went for B, and you'll be correct. So again, for those of you who didn't get it correct, you'll see that the sequence is the 3 black circles, 2 white circles, and then it goes 3 white, 2 black, 3 black, 2 white, 3 white, 2 black, and that's a sequence. But you've also got the little triangle in the corners go from one side to the other, down to the bottom to the other, top to the other side. So your correct answer would be B. Right. Next one. Time starts now. What comes next? Okay, here comes the poll. What have we got? Okay, we've got two that are a bit neck and neck at the moment. Ten seconds to go. Right, that is time. So let's see what the results are. Okay, looks like the majority, 44% of you went with, or 46% now, somebody put in a little last minute vote in there, went for D, which is correct. So again, this is very much just a pattern side of things. So you've got the pattern happening of the triangle, diamond shape and circle, then then the sort of all fully colored, and then the white circle, white diamond, and colored in rectangle, and then you do the pattern again. So the first three are the pattern, and then you're just repeating that pattern. So it would be the same as the third one in that pattern that you need to go for, which is D. Okay, so next one. Start time now. Okay, here we go. Polls open. Submit your votes. Okay, we've got quite a few people coming through. There's actually neck and neck on two answers at the moment. Divided opinion. Let's see how we get on. Time's 5 seconds to go. Time is up. So let's see what we've got. Okay, it was quite neck and neck the whole time between A and B, but B has just tipped it at 35% of you thinking, or 37% of you now thinking that B is the correct answer, and you will be correct, those of you who chose B. So basically it's turning at 90 degrees from the block on the top row. Okay, so it's just each of them are turning 90 degrees, and that's that pattern that you're looking for. Right, next one. What comes next in the sequence? Time starts now. Okay, here we go, guys. Polls open. Submit your votes. Oh, again, we've got some neck and neck ones. Halfway through, 30 seconds to go. Oh, there's a few difference of thoughts on this. So 10 seconds to go, guys. Okay, we are time up. So stop your submitting. And what we can see is that we've got majority of you actually going for C, 39% of you going for C. The actual correct answer, which 18% of you have got, is A. So this is all about the circles connecting, and the pattern is the circles connect once, then twice, then 3 times, then 4 times, and then needs to be 5 connections with the circles, which is A. So that's the sequence that you would be looking for. Okay. Next. Time starts now. What do you think it is? Okay, we've got quite a strong contender here. We've got 15 seconds left. Okay, stop the time. So it looks like 52% of you have gone for, 48% of you gone for D, and then 29% of you went for C. So the correct answer is actually D, and it's all about sort of working out how many the values. So how many orange balls then equal to one square, 2 orange balls to 2 orange balls, 2 squares to 1 white ball, and then you're working out the sequence from there and how that sort of works through in the pattern. And it's about sort of working out what it equals to. So the next one would be D. So well done, everybody, that 54% that got D. Next, what do we have happening next? Time starts now. Right. We'll have the poll going in a minute, and here it is. What are you going to go for? Okay, we've got we've got 3 that are pretty close together as to what people think it might be. Coming up for 10 seconds left. Five seconds. Get your votes in. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that is time up. So let's see what the responses are. We've got 37% of you, majority, saying E. And then the next is 20% of you saying B. Okay, so the people who went for E are correct. So what you're looking for is the same amount of lines in the inner shape as the outer shape, and also the shading on the outside. Okay, so well done to those who got E. And we've got the last one. And let's see what percentage we can get here. So I'll start the time now. What are you going to go for? A, B, C, D, or E? Okay, here we go, guys. The poll's launched. Start getting your votes in. We've got 3 contenders at the moment with people thinking. So a couple neck and neck at the moment. So 10 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Okay, so let's see where we ended up. Right, we've got a tie between A and C. 28% of you on both think that it's either one of those two, followed by 22% of you thinking B. So it's actually the correct answer is A. And the easiest way that you can see it, and this is the sequence, they go back to back. So as you can see on the first square, you've got the 2 C's sort of going that way. And what they then do is they flip and go back to back. So it's all about them flipping and going back to back. So your answer, your next answer in the sequence, if it's based on that, would be the A box. Right. So well done with taking part in doing that. And thank you for taking part in doing that, because it is great to practice. If some of you struggled, as I said before, don't worry. This is just about practicing. This is just about enlightening you to the fact that there might be this aspect within the recruitment process of a company that you're applying for. And it's just good to know now that that might be the case, and what you can then do to prepare yourself and be the best that you can be on that day before you click that link that you get sent by the company with that psychometric test to take part in. And it's all about sort of practicing. And these are just some links here where you can probably have a look, free links to sort of start practicing and getting, it's all about brain training basically with these psychometric tests, and just being prepared, because if you're prepared, you'll feel more comfortable, you'll feel less stressed, you'll feel less worried, and you'll be able to show your best and true self. So thank you very much. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to any questions. So let's see if I've got any questions here in the question box. And we'll just go through for a minute. There's lots of questions about polls. I don't know. Okay, so somebody's asking about, whenever I see any job roles which offer CIMA qualification, their requirement is that a student should be in penultimate year. Moreover, I don't have any management experience but keen to learn about finance. What are your suggestions? So I'm not sure if you mean the penultimate year of university or if you mean the penultimate year of your CIMA studies, which can be different sides of things. Obviously, if you're on about the penultimate year of your university studies, then yes, that's obviously would be the case, because they want to be able to offer job opportunities to people who are then going to be able to be in full-time work. Penultimate year in the CIMA qualification, if that's what you mean, that would be probably because the role requires a certain level of the qualification and of knowledge. About management experience, that's fine. You don't need management experience. You gain that experience as you're sort of working in your job role or doing anything with, you know, and studying towards the qualification. If you want to learn about finance and everything, it is just about sort of looking at opportunities, looking at maybe temporary jobs or any jobs. I don't know what your situations are at the moment. There's obviously quite a lot of people in different situations, but if you get any work experience, even if it's voluntary in your holidays, if you're at university, for example, then all of that's really good experience. But, you know, if you are somebody who is a graduate, companies don't expect you to have multitudes of experience, but what they do, what you can talk about is when you've worked as a group, so maybe on some group work of something that you've done at university, or talk about being part of a society and how you've contributed towards that. So they don't expect you to have all the experience, you know, that maybe you think you might need to have. I'm just going to have a little look at the... Right, there's no other questions. Has anybody else got any questions at all? Any further questions that they want to know about? There's something about accreditations. So basically, for accreditations, what an accreditation is that you will not have to sit certain exams within our qualification. So for example, we've got 16 exams in total, but if you, for example, do an accounting finance degree at university, then you would be exempt from 8 of those exams. So you'd only have to sit 8 papers. So that's where exemptions come into play. And we do have an exemptions calculator on our website that you can go to and have a look, because it does vary between universities and degrees. But, you know, really, if you've done an accounting finance degree, then you would be partway through and be able to have those exemptions. If you're doing something like an English degree that has nothing to do with accounting and finance, but you think, actually, yes, I want to be a management accountant or go down that path after university, that's absolutely fine. You can study towards the CGMA CIMA professional qualification, but you would just start at the beginning of the qualification. We do have something, and this is to note, a new pathway, new routes to becoming qualified, called the Finance Leadership Programme, which is also known as the FLP. This got launched in the UK in September last year, and this is an online learning platform, and you get assessed as you study on the platform, which means that you only have to sit 3 exams in total externally. So obviously this is quite a popular new route to take. There's lots of different routes that you can take that are great for different people and how they like to study. But if you're somebody who prefer less exams, then I'd definitely look into this finance leadership program when you come to studying. So I'm just having a look through. There's a lot of people with MSCs here. So yeah, depending on your MSc, have a look at the exemptions calculator. But if you've done, somebody here has done international accounting and finance, you should be able to have quite a few exemptions towards our qualification, and start probably at the management case study level. So that's quite a level up. So the cost can vary, depends on how you want to do it. If you do our traditional sort of self-learning route towards the qualification, which is all the exams and maybe going to an external tuition provider like BPP or Kaplan or First Intuition, then you may be paying for it as and when you're working through the qualification, and whatever level you're working through, you need to pay registration and subscription each year. Registration's a one-off, and then you would then pay for your learning. So depends on how you want to do that. You might look at buying all the books, the text, or you might go, as I said, to an external tuition provider. So it can vary on cost there. You also have to pay for exams, and the exams increase in cost as you increase through the qualification. So the more technical level ones, so it goes from about sort of the £90 mark to the £300 mark per exam. And also the case of the exams are slightly different. If you take the finance leadership program, that route, which is what I said is the online platform, and it's less exams, it actually varies from £2,500 to £6,000, depending on how many years you want to do it, how many years you think it will take you. and how much you've got to work through the qualification. If you have exemptions, obviously you wouldn't need as long time. If you are starting from the beginning, you might be a bit longer, but that you would pay in bulk. And it's usually, if you're employed, usually, you know, it would be your employer who would pay for this. So hopefully that's sort of answered that question. Please name the pathway with less exams. So that's called the FLP, or Finance Leadership Programme. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's under Claire Durose. I'm quite fairly sort of easy to find because my last name and everything. But you can connect with me and we can sort of talk, or I can answer any of these questions further, particularly with regards to the Finance Leadership Programme, and sort of help you through that, and if it's something that you want to do. With regards to, some people are asking about assessments and the typical sort of psychometric tests and everything. As I said before, that really varies depending on the company that you're applying for and what they're looking for. So that's more on the company, and that's more about you beforehand asking those extra questions to that HR department that maybe has said, okay, I'd like to invite you to take a psychometric test. You're through to this part of our recruitment process. You then can say, thank you very much. Can I please just ask the type of psychometric test that I'll be taking, and all those sorts of questions. It can vary hugely, as you can probably guess, between companies and the traits that they're actually looking to assess. So we are coming to the end of time. There's a couple minutes left. I'm just going to join through. And see if there's any more questions. Oh, let's have a look. So for LinkedIn, if you want to go on to onto LinkedIn and search for Claire, Claire, and then Durose, which is DU space Rose, as in the flower, you should be able to find me on there. And also what myself and my colleagues do is we try and post a job a day on there as well. So you should, you know, once you're connected with us, then hopefully you'll be able to see all the shout outs with the jobs that we're talking about with all the various employers that we're hearing from. Because as a professional qualification, we obviously work with thousands of employers that offer the qualification, so we're constantly hearing about job opportunities, and this varies from summer internships through to graduate jobs. So we are at the top of the time now. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for getting involved in the practice questions with the psychometric tests. It was great to see so many of you doing it, and also, you know, getting it right. But also the main thing is having a go. But, you know, now that you know about it, get some practice in, get prepared, and good luck for all of you if it's something that you have to take part in when you're applying for job opportunities. But hopefully you've learned a little bit more about the CGMA CIMA professional qualification and management accounting, and, you know, that psychometric test aspect of things. Thank you very much for your time today, and look forward to your connections on LinkedIn.